At the pool, a handsome young man named Antoine tries to start a conversation with Eva, but she firmly stops him, asking instead if he can bring her wheelchair closer. Naturally after that, his desire for a deeper acquaintance quickly fades. Because of paraplegia, Eva is partially paralyzed. She would give anything to walk again, even if the consequences were far worse than she could ever imagine. The girl has already adapted to life in a wheelchair. To avoid constant pain, she regularly takes medication. Yet she is still haunted by nightmares about the fatal accident that divided her life into before and after. Thursday, December 3rd. Eva works in an office selling family insurance. Her boss, John, is displeased that last month's revenue was lower than he expected. Today is her birthday, and she calls her gravely ill father. His wife and caretaker Agnes answers the phone. The woman speaks rather harshly, saying that he does not even remember his daughter exists, then hangs up. That evening at home, Eva looks through old family photographs. Suddenly there's a knock on the door. It's Sophie, Eva's best and only friend. She has taken time off work and flown in from Germany so as not to miss such an important day. As a gift for her friend, Sophie has prepared something special, an advent calendar, with one present for each day until Christmas. She bought it in Munich at a Christmas market. Eva is delighted with the gift, not yet knowing that it is more than a simple symbol of wonder. According to the instructions, the owner of the calendar must follow all the rules until the very last door is opened, or punishment will follow. The most important rule is that the calendar must never be thrown away. Each small door contains a candy with a message written on the back of the wrapper. But if Eva eats one, she must eat them all. The girl finds it strange that inside the first door are her father's favorite candies. Sophie jokes that perhaps it's a sign connecting her to him. Unwilling to wait until midnight, Eva impatiently tries to open the next little door with a tiny key, but for some reason it won't budge. Then she blows out the candles on the birthday cake her friend also brought, and the two girls chat, when suddenly a voice begins to echo from the calendar, like from an old wind-up toy. It is already midnight, so Eva must open the next door. And she does. On the back of the wrapper it says that once Jesus told a paralyzed man, "Rise and walk." Feeling awkward, Sophie apologizes. The two of them have never spoken about what happened to Eva, and she does not want to talk about it. When Sophie leaves, Eva eats the candy. Of course she does not believe in the mystical power of the advent calendar, thinking it is merely a pretty souvenir. Suddenly the old landline phone rings. The girl picks up the receiver and can hardly believe her ears when she hears her father's voice, wishing her a happy birthday. After that, the man does not utter another word. It is December 4th. John announces that he intends to transfer several of Eva's clients to Mademoiselle Lemaire. Miriam is new here, so it is necessary for her to get into the rhythm of the work. At the same time John makes no promise that Eva's clients will later be returned to her. Throughout the entire workday, Miriam does nothing but fix her makeup and admire her reflection in the mirror. Sophie picks Eva up after work. That evening Sophie plans to have dinner at a restaurant with her new acquaintance, Boris, who is a trader. She offers her friend to come along. While the girls are getting ready to go out for dinner, Eva mentions that those candies really did connect her with her father. He called in the middle of the night, even though he has Alzheimer's and remembers no one or nothing at all. Learning that Sophie will not be alone, Boris has also invited a friend, Thomas. All evening Boris cracks foolish jokes, while Thomas seems rather pleasant. At one point the man even stands up for Eva when Boris rather crudely remarks that her employer had no right to put her on part-time work, since she is disabled. Boris has to drive Eva home, which obviously neither of them finds pleasant. The girl just wants to be somewhere safe as soon as possible. Boris suggests installing for her the trading app he works with, even offering to share almost 500 euros with her. At some point he starts forcing her into something she does not want. Enraged by her refusal, Boris throws Eva and her wheelchair right out onto the road and drives away. In tears, the girl screams for him to die. At that very moment a toy model of a Mercedes rolls out from one of the advent calendar's doors, the same kind of car Boris owns. December 5th. At home, Eva's dog bites the little toy car, and at that very moment a crack appears on the real Mercedes windshield, as if made by fangs. Everything that happens to the toy happens in real life as well. The car flips back and forth under the influence of some unseen force. Boris never stood a chance. In the morning Eva goes to the park. Sophie calls her sounding anxious, and says that Boris died in his car last night under strange circumstances. She is on her way to the park right now. Eva receives a message from Boris, in which he apologizes for what happened the previous night. Sophie assumes the message was simply delayed. There is nothing unusual about that. On a nearby bench, she notices a handsome young man and suggests that Eva go meet him. But Eva has no interest. She knows that any man would be scared off by her disability. When she returns home, she finds scattered fragments of the toy car, having no idea how they got there. At night, the girl is awakened by a horrible wind-up voice coming from the advent calendar. Eva opens the next little door anyway and unwraps a candy shaped like a heart. In the morning she goes to an open-air cafe and sees the same young man sit down at the next table. It is December 6th. Eva sees signs from above everywhere, and when the waitress sets the tray down on her table, she discreetly tosses the heart-shaped candy into the man's drink. Then the waitress carries the tray to him. As soon as he takes a sip, he immediately walks over to Eva and asks if the seat at her table is free. The man introduces himself as William. He is a nurse, and it would be no trouble for him to take care of Eva. They get so carried away that they talk until the cafe closes. William offers to drive the girl home and helps her into his car. They exchange phone numbers. For the first time since the accident, Eva felt truly wanted. In the morning of December 10th, John yells at her for being absent for 4 days without notice. Eva cannot understand how that could be possible. But John does not want to hear any explanations and fires her, saying that Miriam will do just fine without her. Deeply upset, Eva calls William, and he comes to pick her up. At her place, she tells him about the strange advent calendar. Maybe something is wrong with those candies, and they cause hallucinations? Everything looks as though Eva has slept through 4 entire days. December 11th. At night, the calendar, illuminated by a sinister red glow, opens by itself. Inside the next little door lies a treat shaped like a bone, and the dog eats it. Then the animal walks away somewhere. In the morning, opening the front door, Eva sees her pet covered in blood. While washing him, she finds John's pendant in his mouth. The girl immediately calls him but reaches only his voicemail. Only now does Eva realize that Boris's death was not accidental either. She begins to organize all the wrappers from previous days and connect them with the strange events that have occurred since then. The girl remembers the main rule: if she eats the first candy, she must eat all the others, or retribution will not be long in coming. December 12th. Eva eats the next candy. If all this is true, she should regain her ability to walk. The wheelchair beneath her begins to rattle, and Eva loses consciousness. After an uncertain amount of time, she wakes up in a hospital, not remembering how she got there. William is sitting beside her bed. He explains that she was found on the street near her house. She was holding on to her calendar so tightly that the paramedics had to take it too. December 13th. At night, Eva hears her deranged roommate praying. Then the woman holding the advent calendar in her hands comes up to the girl's bed, begging her to free her from the pain. Eva silently opens the next door and gives the woman what she wants. Soon after, the girl is discharged. Eva hesitates but decides not to eat the next candy. She plans to visit her father and finds out that Agnes has put the house up for sale. The woman does not hide her contempt for her stepdaughter and does not even offer her tea. Eva gives her father a candy, and despite his illness, he recognizes his daughter. They embrace in tears. The man remembers calling her on her birthday. Now he only wants to be reunited with Eva's mother as soon as possible and asks her to help him with that. He says that Eva's calendar will soon need new victims, and they may include those she loves. Eva meets with William and tells him that after eating the candy, she was able to walk. She does not ask him to believe her, only to support her. Right now she is going to eat the next candy. Before William's frightened eyes, Eva suffers a seizure, and when it ends, she feels her legs again. Later, William drives her to the swimming pool building. They smile at each other as they part. It seems he has fallen in love. William notices too late that Eva has left her keys in his car. A familiar guy approaches the girl, the same one who was embarrassed by her disability before. He asks her to let him know when she finishes so he can help her with the wheelchair. William leaves the keys in a small pot by the door and records a voicemail for Eva. Suddenly he notices that the door is unlocked. Unable to resist, he steps inside and sees the wrappers laid out on the table. The sight makes him realize that his love for Eva may not have been accidental. Suddenly the door locks by itself, and the landline phone starts ringing. William hears Eva's voice, turning into a sinister rasp, and then a message scratches itself across the surface of the calendar, warning that it must not be thrown away. But that only strengthens the guy's resolve to do it. Eva's dog starts growling at him, and William, grabbing the calendar, runs off. He throws it into a deep lake. At that moment the water and the air around him fill with a purplish glow, and a demon rises to the surface. William jumps into his car and tries to drive away, but the engine stalls. A second later the demon smashes the glass, grabs William and drags him into the water. Eva, swimming in the pool, thinks she sees him. The girl tries to save William but it is in vain. December 16th. Eva does not understand how she ended up in the lake. It is the middle of the night. She swims toward the shore, shivering from the cold. Turning around, she sees the demon approaching her. The next moment the girl wakes up in her own home. December 17th. To avoid becoming a victim herself, Eva eats the next candy, and at that very moment the phone rings. The girl picks up the receiver, yet the ringing does not stop, as if it were coming from everywhere at once. In the bathroom, through a crack in the mirror, Eva sees the past, how William was in her house. Trying to prevent the inevitable, Eva scratches a warning onto the glass. December 18th. The calendar frightens the girl more and more, yet she can no longer leave the game without facing the consequences. Returning from Munich, Sophie goes straight to Eva's house, where everything is turned upside down. She is horrified when she sees Eva's dog lying dead. And it was Eva who did it. Sophie tells Thomas everything. Still, she cannot leave her friend alone in such a state, so she decides to spend the night with her. While Eva sleeps soundly, Sophie looks through old photographs where her friend is captured on stage. Before the accident, Eva had been a talented ballerina. Dancing had meant everything to her. When Sophie opens the next door of the advent calendar and takes a gummy candy, Eva does not like it. She demands that her friend give the candy back. Eva refuses to let go of the calendar even in the car, as she and Sophie drive somewhere. The next day, Thomas, who enjoys hunting, invites Sophie to come along. Eva goes with them too, since it is dangerous to leave her alone. Her behavior has become increasingly disturbing. The girls stay overnight at Thomas's house. Sophie tries to have an honest conversation with her. Eva has become obsessed with the calendar, believing it will heal her legs. She also believes that if Sophie stays here, something terrible may happen, because the calendar might decide that she is the root of all evil. Not knowing how else to reach her friend, Sophie goes into the next room and tells Thomas about Eva's paranoia. Meanwhile, behind the wall, Eva keeps repeating that she wishes harm to no one. Then, while examining the calendar, the girl finds a painting inside it. Along with it is the address of its artist, Alois Hoffmann from Berlin. Suddenly, all sounds grow unbearably sharp for Eva. The demon appears and takes the lives of Sophie and Thomas, then approaches Eva, frozen in terror. He offers her the next candy, and she obediently eats it. December 21st. With the calendar in her hands, the girl leaves Thomas's house and sets out to find Alois Hoffmann. She arrives at the address and knocks on the door, explaining that she wants to speak with Alois Hoffmann about his painting, the one he created last year. The man says that it is impossible, because he went blind 5 years ago. Nevertheless, he invites Eva inside and touches the canvas, which fills him with unease. The painting depicts his wife and son, both dead. Alois demands that the girl leave at once. His wife and son are alive, so why would he ever have painted such horrors? The girl opens the next door of the calendar and finds a gun inside. Tonight, Eva plans to visit Agnes. The woman does not know that the demon has already come for her, but when she realizes it, it is already too late. Eva, standing outside, hears the screams. Then the girl enters the house and embraces her father. He knows, his time has come. Eva points the gun at him, and in tears pulls the trigger. December 23rd. Antoine comes to visit Eva, puzzled as to why she is no longer paralyzed. The girl answers evasively, saying that she simply feels better now. They spend the night together. Eva tells Antoine about the advent calendar. If she eats the last candy, she will wake up on December 1st, paralyzed as before, like the painter, and she will remember nothing. Eva enjoys her final moments while she can still walk. She puts on a dress, goes up to the rooftop and starts a video on her phone to record a message for the next person who will receive the advent calendar. She urges the next owner to follow the rules. Then Eva dances ballet, for the very last time. The girl opens the final door of the advent calendar and prepares to eat the last candy. But Antoine stops her, saying that the rules only state one must eat all the candies up to the final door. That means the last one does not have to be eaten. Then Antoine throws the calendar away, because now there are no rules left. Yes, all those deaths will remain irreversible, but at least Eva will not lose her ability to walk again. The girl stands before a choice, to eat the last candy, or not. A year later, a man comes to her house, the one who received her message, the next owner of the advent calendar. He begs her for help.